feel like I'm among friends, but in case some of you have been, just for the sake of memory, I'm Gordon Glazer, I'm past president of the board here. Chris Warren gives his apologies. We had a choice of being on a cruise or being here. And so I'm happy to provide a quick introduction. I want to say, one, thank you so much for coming in here. This on a rational, pencil out idea system, this center would not exist. The only reason it exists is because of the support of our members, of our community, and that's voiced by the elected officials that we have here today. They have chosen people who have leadership who recognize we serve the entire community from cradle to grave, and maybe a little beyond some of them. But so I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for your commitment for the full segment of the community, not for both the young and for those of the aging community. And I also want to say I will welcome some of you to join our membership if you haven't, and I know some of you are members and are active on our advisory board, and we appreciate that as well. I want to thank Pat in particular for being here and being there. Your generational support of the center, and as chair of the assembly, I think you show the commitment here, only echoed by your vice chair. Birthday training.
You guys gonna do again?
Ouch. Day training. I'm sorry about that.
It's okay. We all take turns.
We have fun.
And you switch back and forth on that. I remember when. But thank you, and thank you again. Your support's been for the center for years and years and years. Insightful, finding the funds, and very, very tight budgets. Anybody can, when the ship is rising, anybody can avoid the rocks one day. The tide is out. You can see which boats actually have a captain who can steer them on his shoulders, and you've been a good captain of that. And as chair, and as vice chair, and as a member, and as a community council member. And so, years of service, particularly for town. Well, I'm just recruiting for for our advisory board. Forrest Dunbar, again, someone who's been out in the community, running, and also helping us people who can't run, and maybe can't even walk. Pete Peterson, who I saw working and walking with the homeless last week. I'm sorry, Amy is not here, or Bill, but I want to say thanks to the help that Lynn over at the Eagle River Tribute Senior Center has given the center here. I don't see Bill. John Brenington he really is a Bernard person. He may pretend to be another person, but I know him, and I've worked with him on I don't know how long on Bernard Road, and he's always been there when we asked him, as some of his former employees, in terms of helping us in terms of the senior center. I would be remiss if I didn't, if I haven't introduced the mayor, I apologize. You saw him yesterday, and he handled himself like a pro, diffusing but not being defensive, and dealing with my community council, North Star, which is somewhat difficult. He's always been a friend to the center, and I know he will getting on. And I saw him on that women's walk as well. Of course, we don't see the mayor as much as the help that we get from Mike Abbott, who, when we are in trouble, we know can sort of cut through some of those lines that we need to have. And again, funding the support that we need to center operation. The person helps in that, of course, is Steve. And I want to thank him in particular for the help that he's going to the center, giving us sort of a guide in there what we can do, we can't do. And I think we'll talk about some of the programs there. Speaking of which, I appreciate what we've done, I did know, but I appreciate them coming and from the Director of Economic Development as we look at some new directions of where we're going. I see a number of other names down here, but I know some people are hungry, so if you accept my apologies.
No.
David Levy, also a person who takes a direct interest in here. And as I go, I'll go through the line. Kimberly, Belinda, who I knew actually many years ago, working with the Homeless Salvation Army. Rose Foley from the budget analysis. Shara Esley, our legislative aide, over there, and Linda Freeman, Dan over here, already, and I think that's anybody I missed. I apologize. I want to introduce our board very quickly. Maybe you can just raise your hand so people know who you are. Our Nancy Grosser, our media task vice president. Our Mary Shields, who's our secretary, who's also been the general manager and pretty much everything in there, and is on the commission on the Alaska Commission on Aging, a true expert in the area. Lynn Katrina from the university, who's really been outstanding helping us on the board in terms of evaluation. Sid Atwood, someone who basically knows more about ham radio than anybody else in this room. So if you have any questions about ham radio's operations are all in there, this is the guy to talk to. Gary Wells, who's also the senior voice, and they published some good articles. Whenever you're good one, last month's issue, the registration. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention my staff. Our general manager, Becky, who I knew many years ago in terms of work with the Children's Trust, and they last 4 years with Blood Bank. And they were fine until she left. Mallory Spain, her aide de camp, the director here, and Stephanie Rose, our person who actually runs the place, as you can tell already. She's a numbers person, and she tells us what we can and cannot do or afford. Do we have any of our candidates here? Okay. All right. With that, I will turn over to Becky.
Okay. And would you like to say a few words first?
No, it's okay.
Oh, great. Just want to make sure. So I thought we'd start off just showing you a little bit of what we've been doing. It's taken us almost 2 years to get a 30-second video and a 3-minute video that tells our story, and we're going to be taking this into the community, to the Rotaries and to their exhibits, and I still have people. I was at Rotary the other day, downtown Rotary, and a friend of mine who's a past district governor said, "Where's the senior center, Becky?" And I went, "Oh my gosh." Okay, so we're going to have a Rotary meeting down here sometime. And actually there's interest in starting a Rotary here. So, so I'd like to show you our video. We also just printed a brochure, and I hope you'll take it with you and share it, because it gives you an overview of what we do. We do a lot more than you think, and we'll tell you a little bit about that in a minute. So, Mallory, if Mallory would like to do the honors, and just so Summit Day Media donated some of their time and have produced this 30-second ad, and if we have time, we'll show you the 3 minutes.
Well, I guess I didn't know what to expect.
Certified instructors.
Chair exercise,
Yoga.
dance cardio.
Tai Chi's the best. We have more energy. Balance is better.
Mind and body fitness.
There's bound to be something that you'll enjoy doing here. Games going on, fabulous library.
Birthday parties.
The card playing group. There's something for everyone.
You need to turn yourself around.
Get fit.
The Anchorage Senior Activities Center.
The center is for everyone. Come on down.
Well, I guess I didn't know what to expect.
Certified instructors.
Chair exercise.
Watch it twice.
Okay, so that just gives you a little bit of a view of what we're going to be telling the community. We've already had some people offered to do free promotions for us. KLEF said anything you have to announce, just call us, we'll announce it, and so we're gonna be sending this out as a PSA, and if we get some funding, we will actually get some paid advertising. So,
We'll see about putting it on the Muni channel too.
and that would be terrific, yeah. We want it everywhere.
And that was Dick Training's idea.
So I just wanted to make sure you knew that we're out telling our story, we're lining up speaking engagements, and we're going to be much more visible than we have been in the past. I also want to just take a moment and say thank you for the funding that you've given us, because it has made a huge difference here. And not only the funding, but the Health and Human Services Department with David Levy and Steve Ashman and the ADRC, they've come in every month and have been a tremendous resource to our members. And they bring the human element of what we do. And it's a day-to-day process with our members. I don't know how many of you are aware, but in the last year, we did become accredited again. So we have worked hard to stay up with our best practices and standards set by the industry, and that would be the National Institute of Science Senior Centers, until I worked under sciences at one time. And so we will be going back, Gordon and Mary Jo and myself will be going back to Philadelphia to receive our honorary award for being one of 120 senior centers accredited across the nation out of 11,000 senior centers. So congratulations to our staff and the people that we've worked with, because it's taken all of us to get us there. And it puts us on the map. Let's see, I also wanted to just quickly say that we have some facility projects that are underway, and those have been funded by the municipality, a community development block grant, Health and Human Services, and the Facilities Department. And so thank you to the mayor and the assembly, because without you, we would not be able to do the things that were really, we had some deferred maintenance, and we feel like we are in fast motion. We are painting, we have a new parking lot drainage project going on here in another week, with some new lighting for outdoors. We have 3 new boilers that are going to be brought in starting Monday the 12th and installed. Amoresco is going to be working on that. We have the Community Development Block Grant, which is the fire alarm system is going to be upgraded, and the procurement has already selected a contractor, and Honeywell will be starting on that. Immediately it'll be an upgrade to the alarm panel and some of the lighting. And those are just a few. We've done lots of painting in the ballroom and in the hallways. They're coming back to restart the painting. This room has been repainted. When I got here a couple years ago, I just said, I don't know how I can market this. I mean, how can you market a building that doesn't shine? We had patches to do in the ceilings and cloth to take off the walls and paint. And so anyway, it's really starting to sparkle. Our members have noticed it. We're gaining more members, and it's really noticeable. And we have a lot more people interested in having community events here. And we have a lot of community events here. I want to talk a little bit about our fund development, because that was one of the tasks that we were given, was to broaden our base of support, and we've been doing that. We started 2 years ago with a gala at the Hendricks home, which is at the Atwood Estate, and with 300 people the first year, we raised about $38,000 we netted, and that was huge, starting a new auction, and a lovely event. Tickets were like $180, and we sold out. And it was under tents, and it was on the lawn, and it was music, and it was just beautiful, and you haven't been really missed out. And this next year, we're going to do it again. This year, we had, we raised about $45,000, and with over 250 guests. And John and Candace Hendricks, and John just went to work for the governor, so we're glad he's still here in the state. They've offered their home again, so it'll be our third annual gala, garden gala, and already, we have people, we've already put our requests into Conoco and BP and various others for their sponsorships, and it's looking good so far. I want to take a minute and talk about the Rasmussen grants. I want to mention that we just got a BP grant for $5,000 for Veterans Week, and we have pending grants with ConocoPhillips for $7,500. And the Atwood Foundation has been here, and they're looking at $10,000. They said it looks really good. The Block Family Foundation is coming next week, and every week I'm trying to get 1 to 2 different foundations. It's just telling our story. They love us when they come here. A lot of them have never been asked. I couldn't believe Conoco had never been here. So, and BP, they were just thrilled. They also have a lot of new people. So I've got to get them over here. The one foundation that has just been absolutely on board with us and very, very helpful has been the Rasmussen Foundation. And the first couple of weeks I was here, I met with Diane Kaplan and Sammy Kotripke, and they said, Becky, just keep sending us Tier 1 grants. You get $25,000, apply for another one. And so we've just been pushing them right through the door. We got a $25,000 grant for a band that's part of our Kids Corps program, and we just got that bid renewed. So we're very happy to have that. It's a huge income source for the center. We also received a new kitchen from the Rasmussen Foundation. So if you have a chance on the tour to walk through, we have new ovens, we have a tilt skillet. I don't know if you've ever worked in restaurant business, but a tilt skillet is a safety issue. And when you're making 400 meals for children and other major events, a tilt skillet is a necessity. And so we got a new tilt skillet, we have ovens and warmers, and it's a double fryer. We went for the works, and we got it. So a lot of people worked on that to make it possible, including the city helped us install some of it. We just received a grant from Rasmussen, on a security safety system. And so we're bringing in, we'll be installing in the next couple weeks, new cameras and monitors for interior security. And then at some point we'll be working on exterior security between the two buildings here and across the street. We also have a request going in for a new server with the Rasmussen Foundation, and that'll be also for AV equipment. So we're calling it a technology proposal, and that'll be about $25,000. So as fast as I can write them and we can get the work done, I can submit the next one. So we're on it. While we had, and I'm going to go slide into a whole other area, because one of the things that I wake up and think about is I don't want to be on a sinking ship. I want to be on a ship that's floating and knows where it's going, and we just have an awful lot of work to do. And one of the things that came to mind, and our board has been, very driven as well, is to look for something sustainable so that we have a future here. We appreciate the funding from the city. We will always want and accept your funding. We also want to know that on our own that we can become sustainable in this community. And we have every reason why we should be. So, sorry about that. Yes, Mallory gave this to me. I loved it. Anyway, so we are looking at, we invited Ed Rasmussen and Diane Kaplan for lunch, and wanted to show them and thank them for the gifts that they've made. And one of the things that Diane and I just had a chance to talk about over lunch was, well, what do you think? She said, you'll be doing next. And I said, well, what do you think of housing? What do you think of senior housing? We're on 5 acres of land, we have 35,000 square feet of building. And what would you think of senior housing? And she said, you know, I'm gonna bring Carol Gore from Cook Inlet Housing over and we'll be over in a week. So we had the maps ready and the tea set up outdoors because it was a beautiful day and we knew that they would wanna walk the property. And it's not our property, it's the municipalities, but we at least would like to hear what they thought. And they had so much enthusiasm about it that after Diane got here and she said, where's the map? Let's go right out and walk the property. So we did that. She said, look, the Rasmussen Foundation will be happy to write a phase 1 grant, look at a bubble diagram, and you do not have to pick a partner. Carol is here only to give advice, and they'd love to be your partner if you want them, but you're not committed to anyone or anything. Go ahead and let us know what you want to do. So anyway, the grant's been submitted. In the meantime, we raced over to meet with David Levy and Steve because we thought when you have two excited donors and potential partners, you want to make sure no one's left out of the loop. And so we went to Steve and Dave, and they set up the meeting with the mayor. We met with the mayor, and we were so excited when we left that meeting. The mayor said, you know, we love the project. Please put something together that you can take to the assembly in, 4 to 6 months, perhaps the spring, and come back. And, if the assembly and everyone is in alignment, which right now we have a lot of alignment in the community, shovel in the dirt in a year. And so we are enthusiastic about it. We're taking it very seriously. We've been out to Nat Sue and Palmer to look at housing. We're not specialists in housing. We don't have the model yet. We have a vision of being more than what we are, and I think we have opportunities. We've also toured all of Cook Inlet housing, and if you have not seen senior housing, Cook Inlet is incredible in what they've been able to accomplish. So we've met with Jim McCall, Alaska Housing Finance. I had a conversation with Craig Nolte from the Federal Reserve. He's going to be back in the state. He's really great at helping put financing together. So even if, we get to the point where we know what we can do on the land that we have, or if we need more land, we know that we have potential partners and funding sources. I've already gotten an email from one bank saying, please, if you move forward on this project, let us know first. So it's the word is getting around, and we want to make sure that the assembly is in the loop, and we don't have all the answers, but we will be happy to put something together for you and bring it to you as soon as we feel we have something solid that we can present. We've also been touring the Thomas House. We've talked about putting together a task force. We've had people say that they'd like to serve on it. Jim Cubans from Alaska Railroad, Don Alsback, who's formerly with the Muni, Kathy Day, Public Relations, Judy Brady, Ed Hendrickson from Alyeska Pipeline, he's a CFO. So, and if you have someone who would like to serve and you'd like to send them our way, that would be great. We don't pretend to know everything. We have a lot to learn. We're going back to Philadelphia for a meeting. We're going to be looking at housing there. I've been online looking at Seattle and Portland and some of the progressive projects. Whatever it is, though, we want this project to shine for not only the seniors that we serve, but also for the city. I mean, we want this to be a model project that people say, I want to be part of that. I want to live there. I'm looking forward to living there, because right now I look out my window and I have to tell you, there is fear. There is fear in going to affordable housing. Across the street, we have a lot of people who are unhappy with affordable housing. It's a mix of housing, it's with mental health, it's all kinds of challenges. We don't know what the mix would be, if it would be affordable, independent, if it'll be assisted, if it'll be continuum of care, whatever makes sense, financially and serving seniors. We do know that more senior housing is going to be needed. And seniors are a huge, wonderful population in the state, and it's the fastest growing population. We have seniors bring in about $2.5 billion to the state just in health care, Medicare, Medicaid. I mean, there are just, they're huge, yeah, Social Security, it's a huge number. So we'd like to make it good for the seniors who are deciding to stay here. We're not moving, we're staying. We're all going to age in place somewhere here. And I actually am a baby boomer, so I'm kind of looking forward to having a fun place to go, someplace I really, I'll pay for it. I just want it to be something that, you know, fits and it's exciting and it's, you know, generates. None of us want to age, but we're aging. So we just want to do it gracefully and with fun. And we're trying to turn this center into a place that's enjoyable, that it's clean, it's fun, that we have more programming, that we're accountable, we're listening to the seniors who are coming in. And I just want to take a second and introduce our fantastic chefs. Our manager, on the red is Christopher Knight, and he is a wonderful chef from chef school. I'm having a moment. Help me. The chef school. Cordon Bleu. Thank you. Yes, he is definitely. And Thomas Stevens is just a fantastic addition. He's our line cook and used to work on the North Slope, so you know when you're good, you work on the slope. And they're shutting down rigs right now, or he'd be on the North Slope. And they're shutting them down fast. My son was just talking to somebody from ICE Services, and you know the hotels that were there?
They're empty.
They're empty. They're empty. It's really, really sad. A lot of people looking for jobs. So anyway, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Again, we'd like to ask you to support us for funding in this next budget. And thank you. Thank you. Oh, and for dessert, you're having hot apple pie, a la mode made by Thomas. So, so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Gordon, or if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Any comments? Okay.
I'm sorry.
Sure,
So I'm a little curious, and Mike maybe you can speak to this. So how does the sort of revenue, how does that kind of thing work when it's municipal land, right? So how does that balance work? We bring in a private developer, we partner with them, or the senior center does, and then there's a split between revenue, or how would that shake out?
There's a variety of models. There's a pretty similar one. The Chubiak Senior Center has housing on it. It also is located on municipal land. The municipality essentially leases the land to the nonprofit that operates the facility for a nominal amount. I think it's $1 a year or thereabouts. And then as long as the facility is being used in that purpose, it essentially is perpetual. And so, using Chudiak's example, they've used a combination of legislative grants and government program revenue, and then so-called private revenue or tenant income to finance several different additions to their housing facility and their activity center as well. So there's a model that we're already using in the Muni that might well suit this property as well.
Becky, do you have any idea how many units, rental units will be available?
You know, we don't. That bubble diagram will help us to determine if if we have the space that's available right now, or if we need more space. If we, for any reason, have to go into the park, that could be a real issue. We've also noticed there's 4 houses on the other side over here that are on a dead-end street, and maybe we buy those 4 houses. If you look at them, you know, they have beautiful views, and it would give us the property that we need and the access, because there's a street there. So, I mean, there's all kinds of things. We've got to be creative. We're hoping that it's at least 55. Would you like to?
No, I just,
Okay,
usually
all right.
I've gotta go. but
Thank you,
please
Mayor.
carry on. Thank you. No, thank you all for the pictures.
Okay.
Enjoy the rest of your meal. Thank you.
You're missing the apple pie.
I know, we'll send it back with, we'll send it with my.
Yeah, don't give it to Mike. I have no idea what they are.
Okay, all right. Carol Gore was just here for an hour one day, and I asked her, so based on what you can see, what do you think about the number of units? And she said, well, the wonderful thing is you already have the senior center, which could be used for congregate meals and their activities, and there's plenty of space here. So she was suggesting maybe 55 units, but that's just a guesstimate. And that doesn't, and we know that there are going to be some parking and some zoning issues, and that there's a whole public relations plan that we have to put in place if this moves forward. But I think we are prepared to be able to do all of that. And I think we can work really well with our community.
Okay, just to point out, the expectation is, at this point, you're not looking at going to the park. You're hoping
Right.
to just get it all done.
Right.
This going in. I think that was the direction that you had.
Yes, he said, if you're going into the park, I'd rather know sooner than later, but if we don't have to go into the park, it would be better. And I love what Diane Kaplan and Carol Gore said, and you know, this was their first time to walk out here, but the trees, you know, we've had a lot of history with people living in, homeless people living out here and starting fires. So, I mean, they said, you know, if you had to trim that back a little bit, it's kind of creepy, they said. They called it creepy. And I went, oh, well, it's very nice. I'm sure somebody else thinks wetlands are not creepy. But anyway, we know it's a very sensitive issue, and I've worked with wetlands.
I just want to say thank you all for being here. I also have to make my excuses. I have a meeting in Eagle River in about half an hour, and I don't want to drive as fast as some people do. But it's, we are greatly appreciative of the fact that you've all come today, that you've had a chance to see this, that you recognize the value of the seniors in the community. For those of you who are not seniors yet, and for those of us that are over the age of 55, by a year or two, here and there. Please come join us anyway, because we accept memberships when you're over 18. So that membership application is there. You can actually start voting at the age of 50.
And Mary is a former commissioner on aging.
I'm still on the commission on aging.
She's on the commission on aging, and
Chair.
represents us well. And believe me, as we age, it's good to know that we have good people watching out for our seniors.
And Gordon's on the commission now as well. So.
She tells him what to do.
Just one note, in case you're not aware, the seniors in this state spend $2.7 billion in this state. It's not a group that anyone wants to antagonize. It's certainly not a group that anyone wants to consider forgotten. It's a very important group, and most of them, if you've been raised here, then you know an awful lot of those folks. And so all the support we can get. The housing for seniors in the state is abysmal at this time. We need a lot more of it, and particularly now that the pioneer homes have to cut back on the number of people they can take in. On that note,
Thank you, Mary.
Bye.
Thanks for
Thank you.
coming.
Well, and those over 55 or 60 is the fastest growing demographic in the state as well. But my question was, how many residential units does the Chugia Center?
I don't.
Was it?
I think
I think it's a couple hundred.
Your office, somebody there?
It's a couple
over there?
hundred.
Yeah, I can get that in.
Yeah.
They have a blend of
We were just out there.
independent and assisted living.
And they have adult,
They have adult daycare.
daycare.
They have folks that come in and stay with them during the day. And they're a Medicaid provider. And that's a big part of their revenue stream.
And it's $6,500 a month to live in assisted living with 24-hour care. So that's why it's so important to keep people in independent care. If they can stay in their homes, or they can live in a unit where they don't have to have the 24-hour care. It's a huge savings on everyone. So
they have 20, just so you guys know, they have 20 units of assisted living.
Yes.
And then they've got about 62 of a mixture of independent units.
The nice thing about independent and affordable, if you're not familiar, you may know more about it than I do, but when you build a facility for housing, you can't distinguish the person who pays market rate, who can afford it, from the person who cannot. So that is, that's part of the dignity that we care about with our seniors as well.
Let me just say a couple of things.
Okay,
I'm going to the board. I don't want us to lose sight of what our primary mission here. It's not the housing project, but it's an important, significant one. We are one of the few agencies in town which is dedicated for prevention. We cannot build enough housing units to house all the people who need or will need assisted care. Can't be done, can't afford it, we should do it. We need to move into a model where we can keep people at the highest level of functioning for the longest period of time. What the data shows us is socialization, physical activity, and nutrition are three key components in keeping people to stay where they can at the highest function. Our focus here is with our athletic programs, whether that's walking or chair yoga or Tai Chi or the dance, is to keep people moving. Keep them so that they stay flexible, they don't fall. All the other chronic diseases we talk about, diabetes, heart conditions, etc., are directly related to that activity. That's our focus here. Socialization. We know the data of people who go in, some of them across the street, not all of them, not most of them, but some of them, and they never go out that door. They're afraid, they're scared, they're isolated. And what happens is you see a decline, spiral, coming down, and that's what we're set up to try to prevent, is people be socialized, engaged, whether that's chess or playing Olympics, or the artwork, which is phenomenal, or the craft, or whatever it is, having them socialized. And the lesser point in terms of nutrition, we have low-cost meals, we do catering events on a regular basis, we have special events at low prices, we have food boxes for some of the people who are very low income. But let me say, some of the problem here is not just income derived. We have people who basically are very middle class, or live middle class, or they have family members that care about them, but they're isolated, they're not being involved in physical activity, they're not being socialized, not having good nutrition. There is a generation that younger people may not remember where the guys didn't cook, or the women didn't know how to cook for less than 15 people, and suddenly they're alone and cooking for one, or learning how to do something besides peanut butter sandwiches and egg sandwiches and tuna sandwiches. That's what we're here for. That's what you're funding us for. Actually, the major achievement we do in terms of housing is keeping people needing special housing. We're looking at other things as well. We're looking at innovative things, and we don't know what that is. So when you ask us questions, we're not playing coy. We just don't know. We're still in that study phase. How much space do we have? What are we going to do? Is it going to be a mixture of commercial or residential? Some of the places have. What does the community need? And what can we provide? And what can we afford to provide? But I don't want you to lose that focus of what you're helping us do and why we're doing it. And we would like to hear questions from you, because you're really a key constituency for us. The people in the community here who use this facility talk to us on a regular basis, I assure you. You might come to one of our community meetings or activities, you'll see that. But we don't have that chance face to face to answer your questions for your major commitment that you have in terms of supporting this building, supporting the center. So, yes, go ahead. I answered the easy questions, you guys answered the hard ones.
That's fine. Or Dick can do it too.
Actually, Dick probably could.
Becky mentioned sustainability earlier, and that's something near and dear to my heart. You have wonderful southern exposure here. Have you done any solar analysis?
No, and I think it's a good question. We have, please pass this on to the mayor. We've gotten our lighting down, and it's made a tremendous difference in terms of moving to LEDs in terms of our costs, and pass that on to the mayor, Mike. We really appreciate the work on that. I think solar would be a good way to go. We need a cost and an analysis. If I can't speak for the entire board. The board will discuss it, but I can tell you, I'd be surprised if any of the board who was against solar. I think it'd be great. You're absolutely right.
I have my southern exposure on my own, and I'm killing him on me right now.
We have money, aren't you?
As we speak.
But we really are looking at sort of efficiency. The city is providing 3 new boilers. The original boilers are still there, and I think they're losing places that even manufacture the parts for it anymore. But it's really not in English. So we are looking for efficiencies in there all the way in terms of thermal. And part of the issue in terms of improving the parking lot is we spend an incredible amount of man hours,
Staff hours.
Trying to keep that thing clear, trying to keep it sanded. Doesn't work too well, and it takes up a lot of we don't like to use the salt because it runs off the flowers, and I can't tell you what the Bonnie, our flower person, thinks about the flowers. I'm sorry you don't see it now, but in the summer it's just beautiful. But yes, I think these are something looking at. Good question. Thank you. Yes.
Gordon, I did want to make a little pitch. Kimberly Stoltz, who is one of our newest municipal employees, is with us here today. We got a contract about a month and a half ago with Alaska Housing Finance to provide case management services to folks that live in public housing across the street. Our goal is to provide a greater partnership between the public housing units across the street and the senior center here. There's a lot of interest on the part of the folks that live across the street. We'd like to bring them here and take advantage of the wide variety of services here. And so we're very excited to have Kimberly on board, and we're hoping to do future joint projects between both groups in the future.
Notice he's biking up here. Which is not our bikes are sometimes. Yes, and I want to talk to Kimberly. We talked a little bit about trying to get some programs across the street, particularly accessibility. Doesn't look like a big barrier, but still people are afraid of falling, don't lack the confidence. We get some way to get that link together with transportation. But yeah, we look forward to working with you on that. I make it a point never to stand in the way of homemade apple pie with ice cream. So I'm going to take a quick break and give you a break and have them sort of go ahead, Sidney.
Yeah, I have one comment about how much we appreciate the help the community has done for us. And Gordon mentioned ham radio. There's been a lot of labor that's been donated by the city, and material, and engineering. And just last night, we have now our local radio station here in the center. I contacted Juno last night, very, very clear. We are ready. We've got the generator out here. We've got, as you know, the kitchen. We're a good place for when it's going to happen. Not yet, but we will have something that comes up that we in the ham radio community practice every day, making sure that there's communication throughout the state. So thank you again.
So if you ever do have a disaster, we do have a generator. We do have water, we don't have well water, but we do have showers, facilities. We have a full institutional kitchen, which we have to show you. So, not if that time comes, but when that time comes. I hope it will be one of the ones that we considered as a location. Okay.
And hello everybody, I'm going to be the biggest high distraction that there ever was, and I won't hold it against you if you tune out while I tell you a little bit about our programs. But what does everyone think of when they think of the senior center? Go ahead and shout it out, and I'll beat everybody to the bingo punchline. Yeah.
Wedding reception.
Wedding receptions. Hey, that's great. Talking about outside events, banquet. The Bartlett Club. Yes, I know there's a lot of people here from the Bartlett Club. So we are more than just a senior activities center. We are also a community resource center for seniors. We have a lot of programming here that nobody knows that we do. Like, how many people here know that we've got haircuts for $5 for seniors? We've got a lot of low-income seniors in this community. We've got nail care for a reduced rate as well, specializing in diabetic foot care, which is pretty incredible. Our health and wellness programs are extensive, dealing with diabetics. So we've got the DEEP program, which is Diabetes Empowerment and Education Program, which is so important. Anyone that's dealing with diabetes themselves or has a diabetic in their life knows that it can be a little bit stigmatized. Nobody really likes to talk about it, so we have an empowerment group. We've got our fitness center, which is incredible. We've seen some huge successes there. We've had a few people who've been dropped from their physical therapy regimen because they weren't making progress. They come to us and they get picked back up because they make progress, because we're able to help them through this process. We've got art programs. We have incredible art. Oh, you're fine. I can talk right over everybody. We've got incredible art programs. When we take the tour, you'll notice all of our art along our back walls. We've got filters, everything that's made and sold here. Most of the proceeds come back to the center for programming. And our volunteers are incredible. I'll throw a number out to you because I know a lot of us in this room are numbers people. But our volunteers did so much last year that we had to pay them an average wage of around $15. We would have had to pay almost $1 million, $83,000 we would have had to pay out for our volunteers. It's incredible. We are so supported by our community and by our seniors here. It is just wonderful. We were at the Saturday market. We had a blast at the Saturday market. I don't know if anyone saw us down there, but it was an awful lot of fun. We've got computer classes and cell phone classes. Pretty much anything that you can think of, or if there's anything you want to see, you let me know and we can figure out a way to get it here. And who knows what the annual dues are? I know we got board members in here.
No, 75.
75, thank you, Nancy. Who knows what that breaks down to a day? 23 cents a day. 23 cents a day. Yeah,
and one latte a month.
Yes. So my sales pitch for 23 cents a day, not including our fitness facility, which is a little bit more a month. For 23 cents a day, you can come in, you can enjoy the facilities. We've got card games. We've got our Medicare office, which you don't have to be a member to participate in with. Our satellite Medicare office with open enrollment coming up. If anyone's got questions, Nyla and Michelle are both master Medicare counselors. They're incredible. I thought I knew something about insurance. I know nothing compared to them. They do a really great job, and they save people money every day, especially on the Part B medication. So great whoever you have down here for that. But yeah, 23 cents a day gets you all of this. And then as you can see, we also do catered meals. I don't know if you like what you've tasted, but if you're a member, you get 10% off in our restaurant as well. So it's a great place. And like I said, when you think of a senior center, we're trying to change the feeling around it. It's not just a place to come and do bingo and to play cards. Yes, those are worthwhile, wonderful activities that people love, but we've got education classes, we've got resources, we've got pretty much everybody in the community that needs to interact with seniors. So please do bring your folks down here if you've got a senior. If you're over 18 and feel like spending 23 cents a day on something that's really worthwhile and can help out the community and give back a little bit to our seniors here in Anchorage, we'd sure appreciate it. We appreciate all of you being here so much. so much. So thank you.
And also,
Yes.
Valerie, you need to take, you do have gift certificates, so
Yes.
you can do it for your grandparents or your.
Yes, and I can't tell you how many times I've got a disgruntled senior down here that comes in and says, my daughter told me I have to come down to the senior center because I don't socialize enough. And then I take them around and we show them what we do. And they love it and they keep coming back. And it's a fabulous gift. Thank you so much, Nancy. And we also do fun things like tonight. I think we still have a couple spots open if anybody is interested in our Grandparents' Day celebration. We've got a big spaghetti feed. We partnered with Volunteers of America, and we are hosting them for their annual Grandparents' Day celebration. They're coming in, they're bringing all of their grandkids. These are grandparents who raise grandchildren. So we've got 65 families coming down with just, oh, I'm so excited for the kids too. It should be a lot of fun. We're going to do karaoke. And we've got all sorts of other activities. I think they've got a face painter and a magician, and we do so much here. We had the Providence Housing Fair, which I think a couple folks were at a few weeks back. So we do everything. Is there anything that I missed that anyone would like to add?
The gift shop.
Yes! Did you see our gift shop? And Angie, who is our incredible volunteer here 6 days a week in the summer with the market, she has come up with this revolutionary idea where she has her 50-cent basket. And I tell you what, if sales didn't increase exponentially when she wheeled that basket out, who doesn't want to spend 50 cents on some trinket that she puts in there? Thank you so much. Yes.
You got your annual book sale coming up too.
We do, October 1st through 4th. Thank you so much. I know I need all these reminders. We've got the book sale, which coincides with the fabric sale. And then we've also got a sale in the gift shop, 50% off everything that's not a book.
Excellent pool room.
And an excellent pool room. You'll see the guys in there right now dipping it out. I tell you, they are way too good for me. Did I miss something, Becky? Oh, fall prevention, September 21st. We are going to have the fire department come and speak. We will have Diane, I will butcher her last name if I try to say it. I know if Mary Shields was here, she would tell me. But she's one of the heads of the Commission on Aging. She's going to be speaking about fall prevention. A local podiatrist. The People Mover will be coming out and bringing their big bus to come out and show people how to safely get on and off the bus. I think a lot of reasons why seniors don't use our public transportation system is because it's intimidating. It's really intimidating.
It's also the People Mover is free for seniors on Wednesday.
Yes, exactly. So they're going to tell us all about that, talk about bus safety, what to look out for, and they're actually going to have people getting on and off the bus to kind of, take away that fear of, when you look at the bus, it looks like it's 5 feet off the ground. But who knows?
Flu shots coming out.
Flu shots on October 13th and 21st.
And Lovelace has adopted the senior center, so when they have extra things from their shelves, shavers, electric shavers, and insoles for feet, and all kinds of
Eyeglasses, oh yeah.
They just bring them by the box loads here. So it's really been great.
Do you have vision screenings or services like that from the Lions Club?
We've got hearing screening, vision screening, and diabetic shoe fitting as well.
And the Lions Club helped us with our van, $6,000.
And if you have spare eyeglasses that you're not using anymore, go one of those sites about them.
You provide services related to PFD applications and tax filing.
Yes, we do. We were actually the last place that had PFD applications this year. Oh, that was fun. And we were leaving applications out with sticky notes with people's names because we were getting calls saying we were the last ones. We did an awful lot of copies.
We partner with ARP for the tax preparation. I think this is actually the nature's link state.
And they do it in this room, right here.
We also do advisory education with them.
I know Rose wants to ask this. How about voter registration?
We also have Medicare.
Similar to the same.
Oh, good. We had more things
Really?
More things than not. Are there any other questions? I'll let people enjoy their time. We have approximately 2,000 and 200 active members a day coming in on average.
So do you take a picture?
Anything else? Does anyone need a to-go box? Bring that down. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.